Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So the big news is that they've been talking about the Harley Quinn movie and they're calling it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, which sets off a bunch of warning alarms in your head. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on with that and how that ties in with the Batman movie that's coming up. Because they just started working on it, they're already almost done with the Batman script, so that movie will come before the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie, which is really important because there are a couple of key Birds of Prey characters that are missing from the DC extended universe that the Batman movie could totally introduce. But they haven't really confirmed anything, so I'm going to start with the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie, then talk about how the Batman movie can help that out without completely sidelining the Batman movie. You don't want to have to shoehorn too many things into that Batman movie. You just want it to be like a really awesome Batman movie. And if they have a couple opportunities to introduce or tease characters that could be in Birds of Prey, then I'm all down for that. So Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, what the hell's going on? They just hired someone to write the script, so that gives you an idea where they are in the process. They still have a long ways to go. They haven't officially confirmed what the roster is going to be, but I think the title Birds of Prey gives you a couple pretty clear ideas. So why would they go with that title instead of, say, Harley Quinn in the Joker or Harley Quinn in the Gotham City Sirens or something like that, or just call it Harley Quinn? Well, I think, one, they're trying to load the title so that it sounds like a movie that non-comic book people would go see. Like, Harley Quinn is a really big character. If you read comics, you probably read some version of Harley Quinn at some point. But compared to the larger movie-going audience, even the people that went to see Suicide Squad, might not be quite as down to buy movie tickets for a movie that just Harley Quinn. So I will say that I did think Margot Robbie was really awesome in Suicide Squad. She did a really good job with the character. So I do think she's capable of carrying a movie, but you can only add so many characters to a movie before you have to start adding things in the title. Like, you put Batman and Superman in the same movie, you can't just call it a Batman movie. You have to put Superman in the title somewhere. So you have Harley Quinn in a movie, you put the Joker in there, you put people like Barbara Gordon, you put people like the Huntress, Black Canary. You have to change the title just a little bit. You can't just call it a Harley Quinn movie. But it sounds like what they're trying to do is just balance the heroes and the villains in the movie a little bit. Like, the idea that they would put some of the Birds of Prey in the movie allows Harley Quinn to still be a villain in the movie, but be the protagonist. So it sounds like they didn't want to do a straight-up villain movie. Like, you put a couple more heroes in there, you allow the tone to be a little more hopeful in the right places. It just balances the film a little bit better. And you have the opportunity to do some really cool comic book characters that you have not done in the movies yet. So whereas Gotham City Sirens would have been Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy, now it sounds like what it's going to be is Harley Quinn, Catwoman, in a couple of the Birds of Prey. Maybe not everybody from the comics, but if you're not familiar with the history of the Birds of Prey in the comics, it actually just started out with Black Canary and Barbara Gordon. But then when Gail Simone came on the title, she added Huntress to the mix. The team grew a little bit. So I think the two big characters that they definitely need to get into the DC movie universe are Catwoman and Barbara Gordon. Everybody else is kind of up for grabs. Those are just like the two biggest ones I think they definitely need to get in there. But I don't think you can call it a Birds of Prey movie if you're only adding like one or two characters from the Birds of Prey. So here's the thing though, the Birds of Prey team actually grew quite a bit during the New 52. So Poison Ivy, Catwoman were members of the Birds of Prey team at various points. So I'll just go down the list here. There are a bunch of members. It's just that most people remember the classic lineup. And since doing Rebirth, like the big DC Rebirth event in the comics, they've gone back to that classic Gail Simone roster. But when you blow it out, here's the extended roster. So there's Catwoman, Lady Blackhawk, Big Barda, that's actually a pretty crazy one. I don't think they're going to do her in the movies anytime soon. Jade Canary, Gypsy, Hawkgirl, Judo Master, the Kate Spencer Manhunter, Misfit, Hawk, Dove, Starling, Katana. I know we already have her in the movies, so they'll probably put her in there. Poison Ivy, Strix, and Condor. So you're thinking about the list and you're like, who could they shoehorn into this movie without it getting ridiculous? Well, Katana was pretty badass in Suicide Squad, but she wasn't really that big a character. They could do more with her in this. They could introduce Catwoman, they could introduce Black Canary, and Barbara Gordon. But the thing is that's a lot of new characters. So here's where we get to the Batman movie. So because most of these characters are actually Batman characters, I mean, Batman's one of the biggest comic book characters ever. So like when you look at DC's roster of characters, the odds are pretty good that they either came from a Batman title, a Superman title, or one of like the Justice League team-up titles. So I think what they need to do during that Batman movie is introduce the Barbara Gordon character and the Catwoman character. You don't have to like shoehorn any other characters in. You could totally save Black Canary if they're going to do her in the movies for the Birds of Prey movie. It's totally okay to introduce like 1 or 2 new characters in each new movie, but I think after the reaction to Suicide Squad, they're going to try and avoid introducing too many characters at the same time. So most of the really big characters that you see in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey will probably be people that you've seen before in other DC movies in various capacities. Harley Quinn's just going to be the biggest one. But I know I haven't talked about the Joker a lot. Obviously, he would have some role in any Harley Quinn movie. They kind of come as a pair. But what I'm really hoping they do with him is that they tease Harley Quinn sort of breaking off on her own. Like she sees Catwoman, she sees the Birds of Prey, recognizes their independence, realizes that she doesn't have to be with the Joker, so they can just have a little bit of fun with their relationship. They're always going to come as a pair, regardless of what their current status is. Like, the Joker's always going to be obsessed with Harley Quinn, but part of the fun of the Harley Quinn character is that once she recognizes that she doesn't need the Joker, she just goes off and does whatever she wants. Like, she doesn't worry about what the Joker thinks of her, even though he is always somewhere on her mind. But the really big question now is, Birds of Prey, Black Canary, what does this say about them doing Black Canary on the TV shows? Because we know Laurel Lance is coming back to Arrow, but in a number of different capacities. So if you haven't been watching Arrow, just like really quick catch up, they have a Black Canary character. They actually had a couple different Black Canary characters, so they kind of mess with the character over the course of a couple seasons. So spoiler warning, spoiler warning for Black Canary on Arrow. They killed her off during season 4, but then because of Lazarus Pit, resurrection, time travel, all kinds of comic book twists, they're bringing the actress back on the show, but the producers haven't really explained exactly how she's going to work. Like if she's going to be full-blown Black Canary when she comes back, or if they're not going to do that character again. And I don't think that's the case. I think they'll eventually do Black Canary again on the TV shows. There was all kinds of news about the Suicide Squad in the movies, kind of killing off the Suicide Squad on the TV show, and I definitely think there was some influence, but that was pre-Jeff Johns era in the movies, and I think they're a little bit nicer about the TV shows using movie characters. Like, we know that Deathstroke is going to appear during the Arrow 100th episode, but he's also going to be a big part of the Batman movie and even Justice League. So like Superman was on Supergirl, but they only let him go on for the first 2 episodes. He'll come back on briefly. He can't be in every single episode. So even though you do see movie stuff happening on the TV shows, there's still at least a few rules about that. But don't worry about Birds of Prey in the movies versus Birds of Prey on TV. Just let me know, who do you want to be in that Birds of Prey movie from the comics? Like, do you want to see movie Black Canary? Obviously, everybody wants to see Catwoman show up eventually, just for Ben Affleck's character. That's going to be so much fun. But just remember, the way they're setting this up is still going to allow Harley Quinn to be evil, but still be the protagonist of the movie. Like, she's still going to be the Harley Quinn character. She's not going to turn good or anything like that. Now, a lot of you are asking, when is this movie going to drop? Well, typically it takes about 2 years, at least 2 years, to get a script and get a movie made. So I'd plan on late 2018, early 2019, just depending on how long it takes them to get this script out and get a director. But like I said, when we see that Batman movie, I'm really hoping to see Catwoman in there somewhere and Barbara Gordon, at least in a small capacity. They don't have to be huge characters, just introduce the idea that they exist so that you can build them out in other movies. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and there should be some more Justice League stuff happening in December, just because we'll be about a year away from the movie, so I would expect to start seeing more footage, more stuff from behind the scenes. Like, I think they've done a good job marketing the movie to the fans. It's mostly to the fans, just to show people who were dissatisfied with previous movies, look, we're making this really awesome thing, we're really excited about this, so I think they're going to continue to try and do that. So even if we don't see a full Justice League trailer, I still think that they're going to release some small teasers towards the end of the year. So I will be doing more Justice League stuff as we get closer to the end of the year. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. Remember, Justice League is coming next year. Justice League and Star Wars Episode 8 are both premiering within a month of each other. That's what's happening at the end of next year. It is going to be so awesome. So I'll actually start a new round of the DC giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. Later tonight, I'll be posting a Game of Thrones video. There'll be Walking Dead and Marvel tomorrow. So a whole bunch of comic book stuff happening. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here to watch the Fortnite crossover trailer again, and you can click here to learn all about Steppenwolf and Darkseid War in the Justice League movie. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.